our upline joining us tonight, Natalie and Burke. So I'm really excited for those of you who haven't met them to kind of get to know them a little bit. And also, congrats on making it through week 1. Those of you that did your 100 contact list, I know that can be hard at first to kind of start getting your brain thinking of people to contact. But I'm really excited about this challenge. I'm really excited for the growth that you're going to experience. And I'm excited for the end of this 6 weeks. So this week, I want to kind of talk to you about what's going to help push you through continuing to grow your doTERRA business, because let's be honest, life is crazy and life gets so busy. And I think it's very easy, if it's something that really isn't something that you're passionate about or something that you really want to do, it's so easy to say, oh, I'm so busy, I'll do it another time. Or I'm so busy, I'll, figure something else out. So I'm really excited to be talking to you and to have Burke and Natalie with us. So really quickly, I just want to talk to you about really quick what the challenge is going to be for next week, and then who our winner is. So the challenge for next week is going to be, after this call, I really want you to think and dig deep and think about why you want to do doTERRA and your passion behind this. And I want you to set a specific goal with your direct upline who invited you to this. So set a specific goal, what you wanted to reach with doTERRA. It can be a rank, it can be something you want to do, or kind of what your passion is behind doTERRA. So I really want you to think about it this week and then get in contact with your direct upline. And then the winner for a free aroma touch is Glendon. So congrats, Glendon. Get in contact with Ash or me, or Ashley can contact me, and we can get you your free aroma touch. So awesome. And then I just want to share with you guys one quote I found that I think will kind of go along with what Natalie and Burke are going to share with you, and kind of the theme for this week. So I found this quote and I really liked it. And it says, "When I lost all of my excuses, I found my results." And I feel like that's so true. I really like that quote, because I feel like it's so easy, because life is so busy, to find an excuse not to do something, or to find an excuse to do something you're not really passionate about or don't really want to do. So forget about your excuses. If this is something you want to do, make it happen, and it will. So I thought that was a really cool quote, so I wanted to share that with you. So I'm going to turn the time over to Natalie and Burke. They are our Blue Diamond upline, and if you haven't met them before, they are incredible. We love them. They're so great, and they're so supportive, and are such great examples to us of how you can do this business successfully and share these wonderful oils and greatly bless people's lives. So I'm going to unmute, and then we'll get it turned over to them, and we'll go from there. So let's see. All right. Okay. I think everyone should be unmuted. Can I turn this over to you, Burke?
You can do whatever you want. So. Okay. We can share our screen. That's all we need to be able to do. And
okay,
we're
perfect.
Good.
Yes.
We're good for that. So.
Okay.
Thank you for those kind words.
Yeah. Thanks. I mean, a lot of exaggeration, but thank you.
Definitely not.
We just love you guys, love this team, love Andy and Tiffany and what they've built, and so glad through them we've come to meet and know all of you guys, and just can't imagine life anymore without this group of friends. I mean, I honestly, that's sometimes I think of doTERRA, and if doTERRA ever went away, which it's never going away, but if I ever lost doTERRA, it'd be what would we do to have reasons to talk anymore, And
we become such good friends.
And such a diversity of friends. It's just awesome. So
I love it.
Thanks for having us on. I feel like everyone that I'm looking at right now has heard us talk about this same thing 1,000 times. So I hope that it's not redundant, but we're going to talk about
we've got people that aren't on too that haven't heard you either. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. We're just going to share some things we've shared in the past, and we love to, because it's what we do. We're passionate about it, and we love what it means to us, and how doTERRA has changed our lives. So I'm going to pop up a little PowerPoint here, and we'll just kind of run through that if that's all right. So
this is where it all starts.
Heck.
thing.
Resume slideshow. Okay.
There you go.
So.
So for those of you who are new, who haven't heard our story, just real quickly, I'll let you know where our journey with doTERRA began. I was listening to Tony talk about the 100 list, and it just, every time I hear that, it brings back so many memories. So my journey with doTERRA started by having neighbors that were really persistent in just encouraging me to try essential oils. I had a daughter we were searching for products to help support her digestive function, and they kept telling me, you've got to use these essential oils, you've got to try these essential oils, they're wonderful. Finally it got to the point where we'd hit a dead end with Western medicine, and I invited my neighbor down to show me how to use the essential oils, and of course we had just amazing results, and it just really helped bring balance to my daughter, and we've never looked back ever since. I've incorporated essential oils in my daily life ever since that moment that Boyd Truman came into my home. There hasn't been a day go by that I haven't used a bottle of essential oils since then, and that was 7 years ago. 7 years ago. It's been that long. But I became extremely passionate about doTERRA really quick after the experiences we had. So I started in November with doTERRA, and by January I was ready to share with my neighbors. And it wasn't really necessarily because I wanted money. That we were in a financial crisis to where the money was a draw for me. It was something that I was like, well, maybe this is a way that I could stay at home and help bring in the much needed income. But really it was more, the essential oils were so powerful, I couldn't stop talking about them. People would come into my home for whatever reason, and they'd leave with a bottle of essential oils before I was even doing the business, because I fell in love with them. I was passionate. But when you're talking about your 100 list, I remember writing my 100 list on an airplane ride to Hawaii. Our family was going on Christmas break to Hawaii, and I wrote down my 100 list and contacted all of those people on that 100 list, most via email. I'm not a fan of the phone, so I emailed a lot of them and was able to get a lot of them interested in signing up just from that email or hosting a class from that email. But one thing I wanted to point out just before we start here real quick is don't set that 100 list aside. So if you go through that and you contact them, don't let that just be it. I've gone back through that same 100 list over and over again, and have had tremendous success from that initial 100 list. So keep that list and keep going back to these people, because if they say no, that's just a not right now. It's not a no for good. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But real quickly, I learned that doTERRA was about wellness. And if you understand the definition of wellness, wellness is actually a balance of the body, mind, and spirit. And a lot of people forget that. We think that wellness is about eating right, going to the gym, exercising. That's what a lot of people think about wellness. And they fail to bring and incorporate in the other aspects of wellness, and that's the mind and the spirit. And with doTERRA, I love how they've actually perfectly balanced that. So it is about the body, and they've incorporated products that help you eat right, that are good for you when you're exercising, and that will help with different, sore, tired muscles and things for exercising, and to help reduce the toxic load. But it's also about balancing hormones, elevating your mood. We're all so stressed out. We live in a world that never shuts off. We have we're just constantly going nonstop. We have phones in our hands all night long, just all through the hours. And that causes stress, whether you like it or not. That just causes stress, and we never unwind. And just simply putting oils into the bath at night is a great way to help bring balance, to help create that whole body relaxation that's needed for a restful night. And a lot of times people are not even thinking down this avenue. They're not going to that mind and the spirit. And one thing I love about doTERRA is the spiritual side of it. And for whatever that is to you, this is the opportunity for us to serve. It's an opportunity for us to share our passion with others, to help improve their lives, to serve them, to serve others. And a huge aspect of doTERRA is the self-development. I have grown so much as an individual through this journey in doTERRA. I've learned better how to communicate. I've learned so much about myself, and I've grown so much. I just love everything about it. So that really is my passion for doTERRA. It is that I feel for the first time in my life that I finally have found that balance of body, mind, and spirit. And it's been just an amazing journey. So keep that in mind when you're sharing doTERRA, that you're sharing so much more than just a healthy lifestyle. You're sharing wellness.
Yeah, the self-development's been amazing. To see Natalie go from throwing up before teaching 3 or 4 people at our home to speaking at convention and in front of thousands was, that kind of encapsulates her self-development and just that change. And then, she become a self-made computer whiz on top of that without any program you can think of. So anyway, there's so many great side benefits to this journey that you don't think about when you're starting. You think, oh, it's all about oils. No, it's not. It's about so much more. It's about living your full life and your full potential and bringing out the best in you, which is what we're here for. Yeah. There's so much more to life than just, doing the daily grind and all the normal stuff and the things that the system tells us we're supposed to do. We're not put here for that purpose. And this has become a vehicle for us to live what is our fullest life right now. And we know we got more in store too, but this is the vehicle to help us do that. So some of those key things that we want to talk about quickly tonight are, passion, which Natalie just talked about, and then persistence, and then how that equals a payday. And, persistence, there's lots of catchy quotes on it, and this just happens to be one of them. So ambition is the path to success. We've all got that ambition, or you wouldn't even be on this call tonight, wouldn't listen to it, the recording. You've got ambition. Now you've just got to marry that up with the persistence to get you where you want to go. And, persistence has to do with being persistent in the right things and the things that are productive. And being persistent in designing your business cards is not going to get you where you want to go. Being persistent in organizing your office and alphabetizing your oils is not going to get you where you want to go. So being persistent means being persistent in the right things. Being persistent in being on Facebook is not going to get you where you want to go unless you're using it as a tool to help you build your business, not as more to post, all the catchy things from your personal life. So if you want to be persistent in the right things, and don't waste your time. Be persistent in things that are good, and the things that you need to be plugging into. We just say, to push out the dark, you've got to bring in the light. And bringing in the light means doing the things that make you spiritually whole, first of all and foremost, and those are different for each of us, but making sure you're doing those things, but then also plugging in the practical stuff, the good stuff. And you can find a lot of that in these kind of books that really help you understand what your potential is and what you're individually and personally capable of creating in this life, and how the Mark Zuckerbergs and those people who've been really successful in this life, they really don't have anything you don't have, other than some passion, some persistence, and the belief that they could do great things. So these are just some examples of some books that I would recommend to people if they were starting down this journey, and I'd recommend that you plug into something uplifting every day for at least 10 pages worth of reading. Because when you get to the end of the year and you look at that, you'll have read 3,650 pages. And you can't read that much without getting a positive effect out of it if it's the right stuff. If it's the wrong stuff, it's going to have the opposite effect. And it's
going to drag you down.
It's going to drag you down.
Yeah.
So be persistent in the right things. Okay? You're also going to have to learn to deal with rejection.
Mm-hmm. Just real quick on that slide, flip past through it. One of the greatest pieces of advice I can give you, and one of the greatest things I did for myself, was to block out everything negative. So on Facebook, for instance, on any social media, I stopped following any news. I stopped following sad blogs. So if you have, we think that these little cancer blogs we follow are uplifting, but they actually are very emotional and can actually do opposite and have an opposite effect and not be as positive. So I stopped watching the news at home. We don't watch TV at all. We watch Survivor. That's about all we watch. But just eliminate the negative. We're exposed to so much negative, and you'll find that as you start bringing in these positive self-help books and eliminate the negative, things just work in your favor. It's just magical almost, but it's so worth doing. So eliminate the negative from your life and fill it with that positive. And part of it is rejection. So you're going to have maybe a spouse who says, I can't believe you're doing this. I don't want to do network marketing. Or your kids rolling their eyes saying, you're the witch doctor. Mom, I don't want to use these oils. Or, the classroom. So you spend all this time and you're so excited to plan out your first event and you have a no-show. You're going to have to learn how to deal with these no-show events. I can't tell you how many events I've gone to that have been no-shows, and instead just take that hostess and make the most of that. That one person can end up being thousands of people down the road if you've got that right host. So make sure that you always flip it into a positive. Something that seems negative, take it and make it a positive. And then you're going to have neighbors that talk about you. That was one thing that was hard for me at the beginning of doTERRA, is the neighbors whispering about, the witch doctor up the street, and network marketing, and all the things that they would say and whisper. And you have to get to the point where you don't care what anyone else thinks about you. You know what you're passionate about. You made the decision to go for this and to make a change in your life, and you have to stop worrying what anyone else thinks about you.
We were driving down the road a few weeks ago, and we were talking about, what it really takes, really. Not these systems, not all this garbage out there, not anything else. What it really takes. And I asked Natalie, what do you think it really takes? And she said, I had to embarrass the hell out of myself. Pardon my language, but she just looked at me and she said, I embarrassed the hell out of myself to build this business. But guess who's laughing now? Guess who's, after all said and done, guess who it worked out for? And it's because she was willing to do that. And she didn't care, because she was determined to make this work and be successful at it. And she didn't care if it took a week, a month, a year, or 5 years. She knew that that was the course that she had set and that she was going to be successful at it. And she just didn't care what people thought. So look, when it all comes down to it, that's what it's going to take. And you're going to have to not let intimidation get in your way, because that's really what it comes down to, is who are you intimidated to call? Who are you afraid of calling? And that intimidation is denying you what you really want to get out of life. And sometimes it's not because you're afraid of someone. That's not intimidation. Sometimes it's just valuing your own time as much as you value someone else's. We were just talking about this the other day, and calling some people, and Natalie said, I'm not afraid to call them. I said, I know you're not afraid to call them. I said, but what the issue is we think that bothering someone and asking them to do something that they've already committed to doing is somehow not okay, because their time is more important than ours. And in a sense, that's being intimidated. It's feeling like we're not worth as much as someone else. And asking them to do something is somehow not okay. So don't be intimidated in this business or in life. You have as much value as anyone else. And you have the right to expect people to do the same things for you that you would do for them. So keep that in mind. Don't be intimidated.
Just keep in mind too, we have the most amazing products, and they are changing people's lives. And to me, that's what drives me forward, no matter what anyone is saying, is that I know every single home needs these oils. I believe every single home needs to have doTERRA essential oils and wellness products in their home. I believe that to the core. And so it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. I know that, and I believe that, and I'm going to keep pushing forward no matter what.
So along with the persistence, when we did this presentation, I shared some screenshots of things off of the Blue Diamond Facebook page, and things that people had gone through, because I wanted to reinforce with people and with you guys, what would you do in this situation? And this was a post. It's really long, so I'll just kind of summarize it. But this lady showed up at the Microsoft store where they were supposed to use the conference room. It had been double booked. They said, well, you can sit in the front window area and teach your class. And she said, fine, I'll do it there. Well, you've all seen an Apple store. It's just glass. Everyone can see everything. So she's sitting up there teaching this class. There's a couple standing right outside the class making out. There's a homeless person comes in and joins the class. There's the Apple employees are trying to show off the new TV that she's trying to use for her presentation. I mean, it was a circus, but she did the class anyway. Okay, so what would you have done? Would you have been like, you know what, we're just gonna have to reschedule. I'm gonna go home. This is too embarrassing. This one, another one, she commented about, ending up at a bar, everyone being basically Schlotsky, just wasted, and she taught the class, and then, she went through a lot to get there and get back, and it just, it was an experience that she could have called off when she realized the setting, but she decided to carry on. This one, this is the one. Oh, wait, let me see.
Across the state.
Oh, yeah. This gal drove halfway across the state to teach a class and found out when she was done that this elite on her. Let that, cripple her and throw in the towel and decide she was done. This gal, same thing. She shows up, drove 6 hours, she gets there, and they wouldn't let her come into her house. I mean, the crazy things are going to happen. So what'd she do? She caravaned with everyone down to the Starbucks and had the class. Okay? So things are going to happen. They're going to be funny. Sometimes they're going to be heartbreaking. This Jennifer Brady, she ended up at a hotel teaching a class to a bunch of swingers. I mean, you can imagine how awkward that was. But so you're in for some adventures if you keep going, but you're going to be in for some tough days too, where you make some mistakes along the way, and that's okay. You're going to learn from those, but set your mind now to the fact that you're going to carry on. You're going to expect some of those things to happen, and it's no different than the person running the retail store down on the corner. They get the wrong shipments. They mark them for the wrong price and have to sell them at a loss. They do things that they regret and that they wish they could change, but they just got to carry on. And if you're building a business, you're going to have days where you're like, man, I am an idiot. Why did I do that? And it's okay. Just laugh at yourself. Be grateful you're having these experiences and that you're developing personally, and carry on. But that leads us to the final piece of this puzzle. When you've been passionate and you've been persistent and you start to see the paydays. And for us, how to be, I think, brought up, in the traditional system. I just call it the system. Go to school, go to work, retire. That's the system. Most of us, we have big dreams, we have big desires, but we get a little ways down the system and we realize that we're just hoping to have a few of these things. Family, real family time, a home, travel, time freedom, maybe a luxury item of some sort, the money to help lift other people and bless them. The healing hands, a lot of us would love to go out there and change the world through some nonprofit. But when we really think about it, it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources to get those things off the ground. And so we never do. Maybe investing is something you want to be able to do. doTERRA is a great vehicle for that. So you look at all those things and you think, well, which ones am I going to choose? Because right now my job allows for me to have a little bit to invest, and we can buy a house and we get to travel a little bit, but I don't really have a lot of time freedom, and I have to travel within those 2 weeks of vacation I get from the office, and I have to give them 90 days notice when I'm leaving on vacation. Someone told me that they had to give 90 days notice to go on vacation. I thought, what the crap? Yeah, this is ridiculous. So, but maybe it's, you're going to have great family experiences and be able to invest a little and have a nice home, but maybe you're going to give up the travel or the time freedom or that luxury item, and you're probably not going to be able to have enough to help other people or to be involved in a nonprofit that's helping people in other countries and do those things that you really, really want to do. Maybe you're going to have the luxury item, the travel, and some investment money, but you're probably not going to have stable family life. Time freedom. Again, you're probably not going to be sharing it with others if you've got just those things. The question is, why are we willing to settle for this and for what's traditionally expected? When you stop and think about that, we've let ourselves believe that we have to fall into that traditional system. And fortunately, with doTERRA, it encompasses all those things. And when we're persistent with our passion long enough, it results in paydays. And those paydays are different for everyone. But we don't have to pick just a few. Now we can be involved in all of them. And for us, that's what doTERRA looks like for us. I mean, great family time, home, the ability to travel, time freedom, some luxuries here and there, the money to help lift others. We get to be involved with Healing Hands. We just got back from Nepal. What amazing experience that was.
That was amazing.
And then to invest, and when you really want to build wealth, it's when you get to the point of investing. And that's part of this too. You've got to be investing your time to build this kind of residual income. And so you've got to look at it as an investment, not a frustration because you spent 2 hours getting ready for a class and only one person signed up and you made $20. Well, you can't look at it that way. You've got to look at, I'm investing in time, my time, into something that's going to grow and then compound and grow again and compound again and get bigger and bigger. So, but to share with you some of our paydays and what that looks like for us now that we've gotten to this point, just to quickly go through some of those, one of the big blessings we've had is to spend a lot more time together as a couple. And we've watched in the past couple of years our parents both retire from the traditional workplace and go through that adjustment period that we got to go through a few years ago. And it's not a bad adjustment period, it's just you get to learn how to be with each other all the time, and how grateful we are that we have that time to be with each other and to really grow and in love and cherish each other in the time we have, and to not have to wait until we're 65 or 70 to be able to really get to enjoy our relationship.
It's been priceless. Travel's been a huge one for us. We love to travel. We don't have to give the 90 days notice. We've actually had trips that we have decided that day, hey girls, go pack, we're going to go, which has been really fun. But we had the priceless opportunity of taking our daughters on a 21-day European vacation. And what was really awesome about that was we were gone for 21 days, no cell phone service, so we had to shut off completely from work, and had one of the most incredible months we've ever had to that point. It was record-breaking volume for us that month. That's the power of residual income and a huge payday that has come from doTERRA. Our daughter Whitney, who now has one of the healthiest gastrointestinal tracts of anyone we know, that was a huge payday, is being able to see her life change so dramatically when we started incorporating that whole aspect of wellness, all of it, body, mind, and spirit.
Messages like this from team members just sharing how doTERRA has blessed their lives, and to see them hit that point where they've really created something that's given them some real freedom in their lives financially, which usually equals freedom in other areas. But the biggest blessing we get now is it's just not about us. It's about seeing people succeed and feel just blessed, just to feel blessed and rewarded and living their life to their fullest potential. I love nothing more than to see the posts, and to see Andy and Tiffany, post things about being at home with their kids and doing things during the day that most people don't get to experience. Those are priceless for us, and the realization that we're involved in something good here, and you guys are too, and you need to realize that.
I loved watching. I remember I just teared up and started sobbing when I saw Andy's Aroma Touch video of him with his boys, and just, you guys have no idea how much it means for us to see our team succeed, because we have just a little heart in that, and it's so rewarding. And you're all going to get to that day where someone on your team gets to this place of freedom and these paydays, and it's just emotional.
It means more to you than seeing yourself get there.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
Another great payday. We just quickly, a year ago at this time, we had a friend sitting at our house who we were just talking back and forth, and then realized that his son, who was in Europe 8 hours ahead of us, was going on stage for the first time in his life at a major concert. He was opening for a major band called The Script, and his dad was sitting here at our house, and we just realized kind of at the same time that, wait a minute, he needs to be in Europe with his son. This is a monumental occasion. This is the payday for them, for all the work they put in, taking this boy from the time he was 14 to coffee shops and churches and all sorts of gatherings to play his music. And the culmination of that was he'd been discovered, he'd been found, and he was opening in front of 30,000 people, and Dad was sitting here 8 hours away. And one of the biggest paydays for us was to go over that night and give him and his wife the money to be able to fly to Europe the next day and go and see their son open the next 3 shows and be a part of that experience. I liken it to, whatever it is you do with your kids that you love, to see them reach the pinnacle of that and not be able to be there. Can you even imagine not having the freedom and the ability to go and be in the seat to watch them do that? And that was a big payday for us to be able to go make that happen for them. And then most of you have heard me talk about being able to coach my son's football team, his varsity football team, his senior year, and getting the call from the high school coach asking me if I had the time to come be a high school football coach. And, you know, I think what that would have meant if I had to say no when that opportunity was extended to me. But instead, I was able to say yes. And those are memories that will never fade, never fade. That's time I'll never get back if I'd had to pass up on that. And how grateful we are for that, especially now. I haven't seen that boy in almost 2 years. And so that time I got to spend with him was priceless. And you need to create a life. You need to. I'm telling you, you need to create a life where you can say yes when the opportunities come to you.
It's about choices. That's what this is. It's about having choices and creating a life that you don't need to escape. That's what it is. But this picture is me with my mother, and if you'll notice, something is missing from these two pictures, and that is her smile. So when my mom was in her early teens, she was in an argument with her stepfather, and that argument escalated, and it resulted in her teeth being knocked out. And that resulted in dentures, and it actually caused gum disease, and it created more teeth falling out and led to just years of being self-conscious about her smile and having to wear painful dentures that kept rubbing her wrong, and she's always had mouth pain. And about a year and a half out of reach for them financially. Just being at a place where I could thank my mom for 42 years worth of smiles on my face. She made sure that every one of her kids smiled. And to be able to give her a thank you note and let her know that we had arranged for her to have this implant done was just absolutely priceless. I mean, these are the paydays that just take your breath away and just make you realize how beautiful life can be and how meaningful life can be. And this is something we want for everyone on this call to experience, and that's why we share them. We don't share them to say, hey, look what we're doing. We share them to say, there's so much more to life.
When you have options, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
You get to say yes when the opportunities come to help. It's very powerful. It's very rewarding, and that's what this means to us, is having the options and kind of taking the power back into our own hands of what we do and what we don't do, and what we say yes to and what we say no to. And one of the greatest paydays is all of you, just this community. And we can't overstate how much we love being around our doTERRA community. People like you guys who want the same things we want. You want to help other people. You want to uplift the lives of those people around you and your own life. You want to be better. You want to feel better. You want to be uplifted and feel like you're living your full potential. And that's one of the greatest paydays that comes from this entire experience. And when we talk about, what would we do if we didn't associate with you guys anymore? I mean, that would be a very unfulfilling life. I think the friendships we've made are some of the greatest blessings we've taken away from this. So we just encourage you, look, find your passion in this, and then be persistent in sharing it. And great things will happen. They're not going to happen overnight. And that's the hard part. That's why people quit, is because they don't see the results tomorrow or the next day or the next month. They're going to come, but you've got to be persistent and willing to put in the work. And when they come, you will wonder how you ever lived life without them, because they'll be very powerful and they'll be life altering for you and your family.
and you feel like you're finally living that life of purpose. That's what I love, is we're living a life of purpose.
Yep. So thanks for having us on, you guys. I hope that wasn't too long.
That was great. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us. I appreciate it, and it's so great to hear from you guys, and always I feel like I always learn from the things you share. So thank you so much. Last thing, just so you guys know, we won't be having a call next week on Monday night. It'll be Tuesday night because of Memorial Day. So we'll just do it at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night. And do you guys have any questions for Burke and Natalie or anything before they go? I just want to open it up, maybe give it a second if you do. Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning on. And thanks, Natalie and Burke. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
See you later.
Okay. See ya.
Yeah.